welcome to the Root of All Broth. I'm Kathleen Hill, and this is the show where we talk about the inspiration behind the foods that we cook. And today's inspiration is Sunday dinner. Traditionally in America, on Sunday, families get together, they have a giant meal, and one of the most important things that you can know how to make is a whole chicken, or what we call a roaster. So the only difference between a regular chicken and a roaster or a Cornish hen is just the age of the chicken. So for 8 to 12 weeks, you'll have the size of a roaster. This is a 6-pound roaster. And today we're gonna cook this in the oven. I'm gonna show you a very simple way to prepare it. We are using Kerrygold butter today, but you can use any kind of butter that you want. So to prepare this, we're just gonna use our chicken, some butter, some Cavender seasoning, an onion, and our oven. So let's get cooking. So the first thing I wanna talk about is a roasting pan. When you're roasting a chicken, you really need to have a shallow roasting pan. This is a nice roasting pan. This roasting pan is big enough for a turkey. It's a very big roasting pan. But when you use a roasting pan like this that has a wire rack in it, it's gonna allow that air to circulate all the way around your chicken, which is gonna give you a better cook. Now also, when you get a roaster, it's packaged like this. When you unwrap it, it's gonna have the neck and some giblets inside of it. You can just pull that out, clean it out, and dry it with paper towels. You can save that neck if you want to make gravy. I use gravy from the drippings in the pan, but you can use, like when I make my turkey gravy, I do use the neck of the turkey to make that. So if you want to reserve that, you can. So that's what I'm going to do to first prepare this before we get to the butter. Okay, I washed and dried my bird inside and out. Now you'll notice that this has a few quills left in it. Sometimes that's the case. You can just use your kitchen shears to pull those out. I remember when I was in Bulgaria and we were doing a duck, Grant and I spent hours getting that out. And when you're preparing a meal for people, you just want to get as many of those out as you possibly can so you're not leaving it. Now I've already turned my oven to 450 because we're going to cook this chicken for 15 minutes on 450. But having it that high in the beginning is really going to give you a crisp skin. And then we're going to turn it down to 350 and we're going to cook it for 90 minutes. And then at the very end, we're going to kick it back up to high heat. So we'll talk about that more when I get the chicken in the oven. I like to stuff my chicken with onion. It's going to make it have a really beautiful flavor on the inside. So basically, I'm just going to cut half of a medium onion. And since this is a smaller chicken, it's only 6 pounds, I'm only going to use a half of an onion. So I'm just going to kind of quarter it and use the other half for a later time. And I'll just put it right in the cavity, just like that. And now we're going to get ready to put our butter. Okay, the preparation of the butter is I just left the butter on the counter for a few hours to get it soft and come to room temperature. You don't have to melt it. What this butter is going to do is going to create a barrier for moisture so your chicken will remain moist. If you want to stay healthy and remove the skin after you've cooked it, that's fine. But your chicken will still be beautiful and moist if you add this butter. So I'm going to go ahead and just get your hands dirty, guys. I didn't use the whole package of Kerrygold because I'm going to use those in my mashed potatoes. I actually have some potatoes boiling on the back of the stove, and I've got some Brussels sprouts in the pan. Those are the side items I'm going to be having for our Sunday dinner. But it's Saturday, because we film on Saturdays. So it's a Saturday Sunday dinner. You may not use it all. You want to rub it all over. You want to get some in the cavity. I'm going to actually flip it and do some on the back. Rub it in real good. Wow, 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 wow. I feel like there should be some funky music playing, right? Okay, so we're gonna rub that in, and then what I'm gonna do is wash my hands, and then I'm gonna add my seasoning to our bird. I'm gonna flip it back because we wanna have breast side up when we cook it. Make sure your onion doesn't fall out. Ours just flew out. Make sure that's coating. And now we're going to add our seasoning. Okay, now it's time to season. I'm going to start with some salt and pepper. I'm just going to pepper all over generously. But Cavender's has pepper in it too, so you don't have to put a ton of pepper. While we've got it on its back here, I'm going to go ahead and add our salt. I'm going to use kosher salt. Now when you use kosher salt, you have to use more than regular salt because kosher salt is not as salty. So you want to be generous with your kosher salt. And then I'm going to go ahead and Cavender's on the back, and then we'll flip and do the salt and the Cavender's on the breast side. Now, I know you guys are like, use Cavender's in every recipe. We use it in a lot of recipes because it's really good. I'm going to put a link to find Cavender's on Amazon in the description if you want to get one bottle of this. It's really great. You can see I'm generous with that. And then we're going to flip this over back to the breast side and do the same thing with the salt. I put it in my hands first, and then I'm going to put it all over. And then Cavender's. You can see I'm very generous with the Cavender's. Okay, and it's ready to go. So again, I'm going to cook it for 15 minutes at 450. And then while the bird is in the oven, I'm going to cut it down to 350 and cook it for 90 more minutes. We will check in on it during that 90 minutes just to check how it's cooking. The last 15 minutes, we're going to cook it on 450 again, because we're cooking this for 2 hours. You want to cook chicken for 20 minutes per pound at 350. And then again, like I said, I'm going to do the 450 up front and on the back. So we'll take a look, and I'm excited to get this in the oven. Then I'll be making my mashed potatoes and my Brussels sprouts. While our chicken's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and mash up my potatoes. Mashed potatoes are my favorite thing to have with chicken. With the drippings of the chicken, I'm going to make a quick gravy, and I will show you how to do that. It's just like our sawmill gravy, and I'll put a link to that video here in the screen if you haven't seen that. But basically we use drippings and a little bit of flour and some salt and pepper to make a fabulous chicken gravy to put over these mashed potatoes. So I'm just basically, if you haven't made homemade mashed potatoes, I'm mashing about 1.5 pounds of small golden potatoes that I have boiled for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then to this, I'll add cream and butter, and that's about it. So homemade mashed potatoes are super easy to make. Now, a lot of people do them, but if you get the right kind of potatoes, it's so easy and so delicious and great with Sunday roaster. Okay, so it's been 15 minutes. I've just cut my oven down to 350. We're gonna leave the chicken in the oven while it's going down. You can see it's at the top middle of the oven, and that's cooking beautifully. Now, when we're done with 90 minutes, I'm going to cut this temperature back up to 450 just to crisp up that skin a little bit more for the last 15 minutes. Now, I'm going to go whip my potatoes. The Sunday dinner developed in our nation after people would come home from church and they would have their whole family together and make meals and eat. Now that we're social distancing and we're not having these big get-togethers right now, we can still make a big dinner for just our family and then share over Zoom or Skype or FaceTime, whatever you want to use. Now, I just whipped my mashed potatoes. I just want to tell you, if you haven't used Kerrygold butter before, try it. I don't always use it. I don't use it for everything, but I'm going to tell you something. It's unbelievable, and they are not a sponsor. I'm just saying, quick tip for your mashed potatoes and for your chicken, Kerrygold all the way. Okay, so it has been 90 minutes. So we took our chicken out, and we're going to go ahead and look at the temperature. Now, the breast should be around 155, but should not exceed 165. Right now it's 160, so we're good. I'm going to put the temperature back up to 450. We're going to put it back in and cook it for 15 more minutes. And I've also got my wonderful roasting vegetables on the stove here to have alongside our dinner. So get ready to get some tasting. Okay, we've removed our chicken from the oven. It's over on the cutting board resting, and now I'm going to make my gravy. I've got about 3 tablespoons of chicken drippings here from the pan, and to that I'm going to heat that up. And if you've watched our other gravy videos, you know I'm just going to make a roux with a little bit of flour here as soon as this heats up a little bit. And that's going to thicken that up. Now remember, we have added salt and pepper and Cavender seasoning to our chicken, so you need to taste this before you start adding other spices. a little more flour. Now I'm going to add some cream. I'm going to make sure this does not burn. Okay, I've added that cream. I've turned it down. Now we're gonna taste it before we spice again, if we need anything. So salty and so good. The only thing I feel like I need to this is add a little bit of pepper, but other than that, it is absolutely delicious. Now, you saw that I added that whipping cream to really I probably added about a half a cup. You need to just watch. Depends on how much grease you have and how many drippings you have, and then kind of compare it. And there you go, beautiful chicken gravy for our mashed potatoes. And there you have it, a Sunday roaster. We have our Brussels sprouts, our mashed potatoes, and our gravy, and we are ready to eat. I just wanted to say a very big thank you to all of our subscribers. We've had so many new subscribers this month. We're so excited. The growth is just so awesome. And we just thank you for the guys that have stuck around all this time too, some of our first subscribers. Thank you guys so much. We couldn't do this without your support. And if you're not a subscriber, why don't you hit that subscribe button or ring the bell for notifications, and we thank you so much for being here. Now I'm gonna cut in. Okay, we're making our plate. Chicken. Turned out wonderful. We have our chicken here, our medallions of chicken here from the breast. And now, the best part, that gravy. Look at that. We just thank you for coming by this week, and we hope to see you later on in the channel. Check out our mini-sodes on Thursday of every week. This week we've got a really exciting mini-sode on bruschetta, so it's exciting, it's going to be delicious, and we just thank you for coming by and enjoy this Sunday roaster. I hope you make it for your family.